Hello, and welcome to the 6th session of the intervention, 𝗱vie in Motion. This session will focus on the changes you see in your roles, tasks, and daily routine as a couple living with Parkinson's. The purpose of the session is to allow you to talk together about the adjustments you're making and of the ones you consider changing in your daily activities and responsibilities. As in previous sessions, we will work at promoting your quality of life and your mutual satisfaction. More specifically, this session aims to help you to recognize the role changes experienced with normal aging and health problems including Parkinson's. Imagine and put yourself in the place of your partner. Explore how other couples have made and achieved role adjustments. Apply and use the problem-solving approach to adjust an aspect of your roles. Over the years, the needs for assistance arise in people with Parkinson's, and care partners' involvement increases along the way as more responsibilities will add. Moreover, with normal aging and the emergence of other health problems, the roles of each person are constantly changing within couples. For some, changing role from spouse to care partner and evolving from care partner to care provider. Some couples are stressing that it is useful to learn early on the path of the disease to prepare care partners for changes that are likely to occur over time. For instance, how can we help each other and support one another better? How to prevent a bad feeling of being caught in certain roles? How to take care of oneself and of the other person? How to delegate tasks when it is useful or needed? A great number of strategies suggested by couples can ease and facilitate the working functions of everyday life, such as learning to tolerate each other's ways of carrying out one or more tasks, modulating expectations, having positive role models, and put into practice means that promote collaboration. Now, here's what different couples are saying.
What I found difficult with Parkinson's is changing the roles. Since the disease, I started to work more indoors in the house, and she works outdoors. That's when I realized that housework is far from easy. I'm always trying to do more, not just to help her, but for me too, in order to stay fit.
I'm full of energy, and things have got to move and to roll forward. I behave in a way like my husband in the past before the disease, and he behaves like me when I was younger. That's odd and strangely funny.
I accept what he does for me, and I thank him often. For me, to be thankful, it's a gift.
The more I do accomplish, the more I realize that it's easier. My wife may be less healthy than me, but she can still help me with a lot of things. She's great at managing the paperwork and the activities. She's also the confidant of many people around us.
The person with Parkinson's is not just a person being helped. She can also help her or his spouse, a member of the family, or those around. And the care partner also has a multitude of other roles that he or she must juggle with. To facilitate the adjustment of roles among couples living with Parkinson's, it is useful to recognize the importance of these roles and how they are colored by normal aging, by Parkinson's disease, and other health problems that can occur with age. Each of you has different roles: spouse, working outside the home or retired, sometimes raising children or grandchildren, or being a brother, a sister, an uncle, an aunt. These roles relate to your personal development, aging, and relationships at the heart of families. In the inner circle of acquaintances, friends and family members can play other roles. For example, that of good neighbors, cook, handyman, choir mate, walking companions, workout exercise mate, card game players. These roles are related to the talents of each and the affinities of people who share similar interests. With Parkinson's and the emergence of various health problems, the partners within the couple live sometimes the role of the caregiver and sometimes the role of the person being helped. These roles are dynamic in time and result from various transitions related to health, aging, and illness. To sum it up, the partners in the couple play several roles, which they exercise according to their skills, their interests, and their health that evolve in time. Beware of the myth that the relationship with a person who has Parkinson's exercises only the role of the patient or of the care receiver within the couple and the family. This belief is anything but a one-way street that is far from reality. Many people with Parkinson's remain involved in conjugal and family life as well as in their community. Taking into account their capabilities and their limitations, it is a way to promote the ongoing adjustment of roles, changing, and the search for solutions to protect their quality of life. Faced with role adjustments and with some tasks or various activities, taking a moment to imagine yourself in another person's place might help you anticipate and meet everyone's needs. I met with the Wilsons, and they are experiencing many changes related to Parkinson's and other health problems. Since they find it difficult, I suggested that they do the exercise of putting themselves in the other person's place. For the next few seconds, imagine that you are switching places with each other. How do you think your partner feels about the changes in roles and responsibilities that he or she is living?
He may feel vulnerable, less good than before, and less confident in his abilities.
And she may be wondering, am I going to be up to it? I mean, it's not easy for the care partner to support someone who has a disease with additional issues.
When you put yourself in another person's shoes, what are the biggest challenges in fulfilling their roles, tasks, and activities?
I see how much it takes strength, energy, and patience for him to keep doing his activities and not to isolate himself. Sometimes when he's off, he tells me that Parkinson's is like living in hockey goalie gear for several hours a day.
Well, the biggest challenge for her, I think, is not take it back on and do it herself. If she really wants to take care of me and herself, she has to learn that something has to give and to delegate things.
What is the most difficult when you try to put yourself in the place of the other person?
It's the uncertainty related to the evolution of the trajectory of the disease. It's the unknown that is coming. It's the difficulty in coping with the unexpected.
Listen, I'm getting older. Am I going to hold on as a caregiver? She's not eternal. She can get tired too.
What helps him the most?
What helps him the most to live with Parkinson's? It's when he sees all kinds of people with different difficulties or handicaps who manage to make a living, who are organized, who keep their spirits up. We need to believe that, and it keeps us going, to have examples and to be coached.
Well, it's when I think of her, when I tell her that I appreciate what she's doing, and it's sincere. When I see the bright side of things, I tell her, or I try to show her.
After this exercise, what surprises you the most?
I didn't think he understood me that way. I see that our tasks and our roles are complementary. I realize what my husband is doing and his effort despite Parkinson's.
Me? I realize each one of us is as important in the life of the other. Also, how important it is to help each other, and how positive examples can help us through all kinds of situations.
Like the Wilsons, I invite you to take a moment to put yourself in the place of the other. Let's do the exercise together. I'm going to ask you questions, and then I'll give you time to think about it. Let's do it. For the next few seconds, imagine that you are switching places with each other. The person with Parkinson's becomes the other partner, and the other person becomes the partner with Parkinson's. You take on the other person's position, roles, and responsibilities. Take into account the health and life condition of your partner. Also, consider the place that Parkinson's disease takes in the other person's everyday life. With this in mind, how do you think your partner feels about the role change adjustments and the responsibilities they are living and experiencing every day? What are the biggest challenges for them to fulfill their everyday's role, tasks, and activities? What is the most difficult when we try to get into someone else's shoes? What is the greatest satisfaction for our partner at the end of each day? What helps them the least? What helps them the most? Having done that exercise of putting yourself in another person's place, what is your biggest surprise? Repeat this exercise as often as necessary to anticipate and to meet your partner's needs on a regular basis, especially with Parkinson's and its requirements. Feeling mutually understood, being accomplices, cooperating and offering small gestures of appreciations are sources of comfort and gratification. Several couples report that putting themselves in another person's place helps them to cope with the many changes and helps them to avoid or weather storms. To help you in this process, consult and print the fact sheet about Take Another Person's Place. The problem-solving approach that was presented to you earlier can be helpful in helping you get through situations in which your roles need to be adjusted. We will now review the proposed approach. What aspect of the roles that you want to adjust? What strategy have been used in the past? So far, how have you tried to adjust to this effect? What obstacles have you encountered? What benefits? If this aspect of your roles was already completely changed, what would be different for you? What resources can you use to help you? How could you do it? What new means could help you adjust this aspect of your roles? When could you start this adjustment? To help you apply the problem-solving approach when you are faced with a situation where the adjustment of roles is difficult, I invite you to discover how other couples have managed to adjust by using this approach.
What would we like to adjust in terms of our roles? Well, the holiday season is fun, but lots of work as well. Since I got Parkinson's, we've had to make changes to our usual tradition. We used to receive all these people for Christmas Eve. Children, grandchildren, relatives, or friends who were rather home alone.
What approach have we tried in the past? Well, we tried to do as before, as long as we could, but cooking, cleaning, shopping, and wrapping gifts without forgetting the decorations, it was a lot for us, especially for my spouse, because at the end of the day, he was more tired, and if his pressure drops, he feels dizzy.
What obstacles have we encountered? It took a while to adjust. We wanted to keep the tradition and not be overwhelmed by doing so. But here we are, getting older and living with Parkinson's over it. In the long run, it was just too much.
What were the benefits by making a change? Well, we told each other that we had to make changes so that everyone benefits, and so do we.
Basically, we were our worst enemies, or at best, our own obstacles. We wished everything to stay the same, even if our health changed.
After having pondered about it and then turning the question around, we asked ourselves, what do we have for resources? Basically, what's really important? It's having a good time together, but also preserving the tradition, but still maintain our energy to enjoy it.
How could we do it and when? With Parkinson's, for me, it's the morning that I'm at my best, the fittest. We thought about it and we offered our family to make a holiday brunch instead.
And they agreed to it. They volunteered to bring a little something. I went to the grocery store and to the pastry shop while my husband was setting the table at his own pace. We decided to go ahead and hired a co-op to clean the house before the brunch, then to get simpler gifts and decorations that take less time to do.
Actually, it even cost us less that way. I bought a Santa Claus costume and dressed up to distribute the gifts to everyone. Even though the grandchildren are grown up, we laughed a lot. This is our new tradition, and the costume can still be used later on, if we ever have great-grandchildren one day.
We are still parents and grandparents, even in the most difficult times.
With Parkinson's, you have no choice. There are adjustments all the time. You really have to be flexible. For example, for the house cleaning and tidying up, sometimes he's the one vacuuming, sometimes it's me. It depends on how we feel.
Same thing for laundry, then folding the laundry and everything.
I accepted his way of folding the laundry. I say to myself, look, it's clean, it's folded, and that's fine. I let go of my whims.
Another example, for shoveling when the snow is soft, she can help, and it's good exercise for her, but not when the snow is heavy.
My husband was not brought up to cook, but he is learning quietly. He has reached his 100th recipe.
Then, in the event that she would have any difficulty moving, well, that means that I could continue to do so. These changes are difficult, but in the long run, when you try, and then we accept quietly the way the other one does things, it's reassuring.
During this session, you have seen various examples of transformation of your roles in everyday life and different practical tools to adapt and to get used to new roles. When faced with difficult situations, I invite you to repeat the exercise of putting yourself in the person's place. This will allow you to anticipate the other person's needs and then to meet them more effectively. Furthermore, you have found that using the problem-solving approach has allowed couples to adjust to role changing and help them to take care of one another. In the case of Mrs. and Mr. 𝗀𝗃, who have agreed to change the tradition of their family holiday season to ask for support and to do things at their own rhythms, has allowed them to spend a pleasant holiday season with their loved ones. As for the Joys, they have also succeeded in adjusting their roles by becoming more flexible, by taking into account their capabilities, bearing in mind the experience to meet the situation encountered, and, above all, by gradually accepting the way the other one is doing things. To help you in this process, consult and print the fact sheets about facilitate transitions and role adjustments and the problem-solving approach. Parkinson's disease transforms your life and inevitably brings some changes about how you play your roles and carry out your daily task. Fortunately, these changes usually settle through gradually and over several years, allowing you to learn to overcome them smoothly. It is useful to take the time to try out new roles and some unknown new tasks. By putting yourself in another person's place, by taking care of each of you, by building on your strengths, by using the problem-solving approach, and finally, by calling upon resources around you. Those are some of the many ways that facilitate the adjustment of your roles. All the means that you deploy every day to help you assume your daily roles and tasks contribute to maintaining satisfying and enriching relationships. Adjusting to changes is also ensuring to you and your couple a better quality of life. I wish you full success in your new role adjustments. I invite you to come back for a wrap-up session. We will do an overview of all the topics that were covered in the first 6 sessions of 𝗱vie in Motion. See you then.